I swear, this car gets harder and harder to get in and out of every time I do it. But I also think that's a bit of user error, because I also believe that every time I get in this car, I get fatter and fatter. I have to go get a haircut, but today I thought it would actually be really interesting to talk about why we're leaving our office. First things first, we need to take care of the mess that is this, as well as much as possible. So let's take the Aston for a little bit of a drive. It's 8:45. My haircut is at 9:30, and let's have some fun. I think it looks a lot better now. So let's start talking about why we're leaving our office behind. It's almost disappointing because part of the point that I was going to make was that once the office filled up with other tenants, it didn't start to feel like ours anymore. And that space, that quiet place, that serenity of the office kind of went away, and then no one's here today. Given, I think they're all out at lunch, but you know, that was kind of one of my big points of this video, was that the office is full of people now. And it typically is, except for right now.
I will say that I was here earlier today before lunchtime, because it's literally lunchtime right now, 12 to 1, and the parking lot was empty. And they were here doing construction as well, so yeah.
How? How much construction do they need to do?
I don't know.
Fair enough. So now that we're at the office, it's almost the perfect time to discuss it. I have a few points that I really want to make about working at an office versus working from home, and why we've decided that working from home is actually best for our dynamic. Now, I do want to point out, I still firmly believe that for most people, working in an office is probably the most productive place that you can have. However, there are certain circumstances where, in our case, working for ourselves, it is more beneficial for us to have our office at home rather than in its own secluded location. And the reason being for that is there are so many times throughout the day where I have an opportunity when I'm at home to go work on something where I end up just sitting around. Now, like I said, for the average person, most people don't necessarily benefit too much from working from home. There are tons of distractions that you have to be able to mitigate. And working from home for years, we were able to learn how to mitigate those distractions and what to prioritize. For example, some days in the afternoon, we would be working and want to take a swim. That was one of those that we always kind of justified of, yeah, I think that would be okay. However, certain things like laundry needing to be completed is typically something that took too much time away from the workday that ended up making us less productive. So over time, we had to learn how to mitigate that and almost work a 9-to-5 schedule that was flexible at home. There's also one more point I want to discuss before going into the conference room over there, and I kind of mentioned that downstairs in the parking area. A few weeks ago, tenants moved into the unit right next to us, and a couple of months before that, a tenant moved into the office right across the hall from us. And now, this is a small office. Our unit is like 1,500 square feet or something, so the one next door is like 1,800 square feet. The one across the hall is like 800 square feet. We're all kind of packed in here together, and an office condo sounds like a good idea, but you have shared parking, you have shared bathrooms, you have shared common areas, and it kind of creates this weird dynamic. Their construction interferes with what we do through the day. Our recording on the weekends could easily interfere with what someone else was doing on the weekends. It creates this weird dynamic where everyone is entitled to do what they need to do to be productive in their own office, but it has come to a point where the distractions here are greater than the distractions would be at home in a private room. And I'm actually curious to get Nick's thoughts on this as well, because it's really changed the dynamic. It went from loving coming to the office to suddenly a dynamic where we would rather be at home. So what are your thoughts on this office now that tenants are all around us?
It becomes less of a quiet workspace. We are, you know, I don't want to say the quietest ever. I have a very booming voice, but we also, you know, try to record. For example, when I do record for the other channel, I do that on a Saturday when no one's here, because we want to be respectful of everyone else that's here. They put a ringer on their door. Every time their door is open, it goes bang, and a huge, loud, you know, sound plays. That we can hear even in my office. I can sometimes hear it if I don't have my headphones on. And like that's through our conference room, through the front room, and into my office. And on top of that, they also have a very annoying phone. And like these are things, of course, they need the phone to do business. It is what it is. But it is just another annoyance of like having a shared office condo where you want some peace and quiet. Especially when I feel like we have went out of our way to try to be as quiet as possible, doing things like recording and things like that on Saturday. I want to come to the office less, a lot less. I actually, you know, more often than not find myself working late at night doing, you know, stuff like descriptions and stuff for videos, because it allows me to get that stuff done at home and then I don't have to do it at the office. It means I kind of have to spend a little less time here. I'm not saying that I hate the office, but it's definitely not a want to come in every single day like it used to be. Now Patrick and I want to take a day off through the week. Even if that just means doing a little work at home or doing work at home, we end up doing that because we don't love the office as much as we used to.
I think it should tell you something, considering that the wife and the baby are both at home and there are less distractions at home than there are here at the office. It's also a quieter workspace for the most part when you do want to sit down and work, short of the baby having a fit. However, in the next house, which we will document somewhat on this channel, but mostly on the family channel, you'll see that our offices are away from the main parts of the house. Now, I don't want to say it's all bad. Jess has not been here in months, so she still has a Christmas tree up. It's July, so Christmas in July. I don't want to say it's all bad, because it's not, and there are many things that we have loved about this office. So to take a break from all of the negativity of why we're leaving the office, I want to take you on a quick, very brief little tour of the office to kind of show you how we've made it ours. This is a space that has so much meaning to us personally and something that we love, even though certain circumstances have changed where we love it a little bit less. But to take a break from all of the negativity, I want to show you some of the things that we have loved most about this office. So walking in, this is the front door right here with a very nice sign that we have. As you can tell, this room isn't really used that much. What we ended up using this room for the most was storage for our Airbnb supplies. So we have brooms and wine, snacks for guests, coffee, paper towels, all that. All of this is essentially obsolete now because we have sold the Airbnb, but it is what it is. This though, this is a mess. And the reason we've not thrown any of these boxes away is because of what I just said a minute ago, which is we're moving, so ignore that. But yeah, this room's very bare. We're never in here, aside from walking through it every day, and it doesn't really have to be anything special. Moving forward, you start to come around down here into the conference room. This is our whiteboard, conference table, conference room. Obviously, it's pretty much this bog standard conference room. But we have had so many fun memories planning out different details on that whiteboard right there. In fact, I think if we look at the back, yeah, there's even more stuff back here. So that's probably one of my favorite things. I love having the whiteboard, being able to sit down in the conference room, discuss ideas, hash things out, really talk about all of the different potentials for what we're working on. So, but yeah, really some of my favorite memories at this office have been in this room right here recently, mainly in the past few months. It will be sad to leave this room, I think, more than anything else. But as tenants have moved in next door and they're back from lunch, so I have to be a little quiet, but as they've moved in next door, they are seriously on the other side of that wall. So it kind of makes it a little more difficult to even enjoy this room, because everything you talk about they can hear because of that adjoining door. So moving on, there's Nick's office.
Hi.
There have been many a times where I have stood right in this doorway right here, talking to Nick about different ideas. We've looked at everything from houses, cars, jets, everything. And this little field of view right here.
It's kind of crazy. Hours spent right there. My office has never been the best furnished. Everything is slammed onto one side. There's a box over there.
Another Christmas tree.
There's a box over there, in that corner. But everything's over here. But one of the reasons I think for that is because of, you know, the gaming videos. That's a decent backdrop for it, that blue wall. So, but yeah, this is my office, and as Patrick said, that right there, that view of him looking at me is very, very common.
What's been your favorite part about your specific office?
I like the windows, and then the big windows and the view. That way, like, a lot of natural light. That's not something we've ever really had in our offices before. The home office had some of it, but not to this extent.
What was your favorite memory in this entire office as a whole?
Painting was fun. Emoji Crisp has been fun too. Coming up with those ideas. I think Emoji Crisp and painting are the two that really come to my mind. There was also whenever, like, all three of us were coming in pretty regularly. That was really fun too. I really enjoyed that time. So
this is Jess's office. I kind of mentioned this before. She's not been here since December, so she still has a Christmas tree up. But yeah, this is Jess's office. She had us paint it pink, which was not in the lease as an approved color, so we get to paint over that before we leave. And last but not least is my office. Just got some different decorations on the shelves. Yet, there's nothing too special about the office, but we love it, and we have really enjoyed our time here. But I suppose, as they say, all good things come to an end, and our enjoyment out of this office has decreased so much over time that I'm really not going to miss having an office too much, and going to really enjoy being able to work from home again. One of the things I did love most about this office was right after Ashton was born, I felt like I had no space of my own. My bedroom was kind of overtaken with a baby, and I felt like all of my personal space had been taken away. His bedroom, nursery, whatever, is in my former office. The game room used to be Nick's office, and I just felt like I had no personal space. So this, when I started coming back to the office, was my space. It was the only place that I had like full control over everything that went on. And I will miss that. But luckily the next house has a room upstairs that I will use as my office that will serve a similar purpose. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the reason we are leaving this office, an office that we have loved and raved about so much over the past few months, and really almost a year. When we leave, it will have been 11 months and 2 weeks that we have had this office, and it's gonna be sad to see it go, but I'm excited for what's next. I'm excited to show you all the next house and what we do with our setups there to be able to remain productive and continue growing the businesses. There's even a room for the conference room. There's a room for Emoji Crisp storage, but we'll talk all about that in a different video. But yeah, I just almost wanted to say one final goodbye to this office. This video is just as much for me as it is to share with you all our office. Breakdown Media, Fastler King LLC, Emoji Crisp, everything we do.